Tone called me from a recording studio in Chicago, CRC. I came down, and this was to make what is now Strobelight for the Humans album. And it was a fantastic experience. I'll say Tone was extremely calm about the scenario, considering how high risk it kind of was for me and for him. You know, it's all Chicago dudes. You know, it's kind of stressful. You don't want any of us to make too big of a mistake. You know, so but it all went smooth. And Twilite Tone, aka Tone, you have to know the guy to kind of understand him. He's somebody you gotta really, really meet to get the full toneness of his being. You know what I mean? We met at Promontory or someplace on the South Side. I believe that was it. And we were doing a gig together. Somehow somebody put us on the bill together that night. And it was the first time we'd been on the bill together. He was like, you know what? I'm gonna holler at you in a little bit. And I was like, okay, cool. Same Chicago, I'm gonna holler at you a little bit. In a little bit, you know. You get that all year round. So, you know, maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't. Maybe a month later, maybe a month or two later, he calls and says, yo, what you think about coming down to the studio real quick? Got something I want you to check out. Could be good for you. I came down, and lo and behold, Damon Albarn's in the studio. Not just Damon, though. There's a few other folks up in there, too. It was Jamie Principal was in there, who I hadn't met. Oh, and also Vic Mensa was in the studio, and that was then saying to me, okay, whatever this is different than I normally experience, because it's not just a DJ and myself. This was, you know, a personnel of folks. And Damon said, you know, what do you think of the track? You know, we know you got wind of it, so what do you think of it? I was like, yeah, I brought a couple things that I think that goes with it, you know what I mean? He says, cool. He pulls out his suitcase of stuff, you know, Damon does. It's a briefcase or whatever he has. He has all kinds of stuff. Anyway, with that, and I pulled mine and put mine next to his, and it took all of under an hour to get the whole record in order, complete from front to back. Because the way he thinks so far ahead that, you know, we were sort of, he'd set a mark and I'd get to it. And by the time I was getting to that mark, he'd be setting the second mark. So he was always ahead of me and basically pulling me through while I was pushing him through. Best combination with Tone sitting there. It was ridiculous. It was a 6-session, man. Really. Quick, easy, and painless. For Strobelight, I sat at the keyboard, and Damon and Tone, they manned the mixer and beat machines, etc., etc. Damon seems to do his own thing like he should. He's building the synergy in the room, he's working it up, and all of a sudden he just knows where things go. He pointed and shifted, and we seemed to already be where he wanted to be, kind of a thing. It was a very harmonious kind of experience, you know, and man, it was the best one. I gotta say, out of the top 5 sessions I've ever had in my entire life, this was like one of the top 2. If it's not the number 1, it's close. Very, very close, because it went so well, you know. And I know that wasn't a fluke. This was really Tone, Damon, and myself putting our energies towards something, and we saw how quickly things could really materialize. And it's quite fast. What I got creatively working with Tone and Damon I'll say would be, I got a sense of resilience, a patient resilience that was really prevalent in tone. And I got to understand what it's like to see artistry when it's been perfected past a certain level, seeing Damon. So, you know, Damon's very much so. The guy who's at the top of the hill with the snifter who's seen it all, done it all, kind of a thing. And you can feel that knowledge in the room with him, very much so. He's got a huge presence. And he sort of showed me how to harness all of these many things and many gifts you might have, how to put them in a, you know, in a box where they can be consumed to the public a little bit easier than having to spread them out and pick them out from all over the place. Showed me how to, you know, really condense everything. What I think Twilite Tone brought to the Humans album was an extreme knowledge of soul. Soul music altogether was something that is important in Chicago. It's the foundation. Everybody thinks it's the blues. Yeah, the blues is very important here, but you know, they're very kindred spirits, those soul and blues animals. And you know, Tone brought that and made sure that that was prevalent on the album. Me too. I did as well. It was very evident in the way he constructed the track, and then I added my key part to it, and it was soul. Damon is being very prolific right now, and if everybody would take a look at how vast the styles of music he's putting together are, they really are. You know, that's the artistry of the man. You take a look at that part and stop looking so deeply at, you know, what's the focus of that album? The focus of that album or that record, or, you know, put it all together. And this human being has been through a lot and has seen a lot. Beautiful thing. Getting involved with this Gorillaz album was life-changing for me. Nothing short of that. From the touring to the learning experiences about touring, you know, the big business part on the other side of the music, you know, all of that stuff, you know, it was very educational in that way. And it's really good when you really trust your boss. I've never trusted any boss that I've had as much as I trust him, because I trust his knowledge before I trust anything else. He led with his knowledge, not with anything else about who he was. And that's what I appreciate most about him. And for that reason, he can call me for anything. Yeah, I trusted Damon. I should say, I trust Damon to lead because I haven't met another leader like him. One who was as knowledgeable as Damon is, and who's, you know, not afraid musically speaking. Man, that's what music's about, man, you know? And he embodied it. And I thought it wasn't possible. Quite frankly, I hadn't seen nor heard of anybody who is from the England area digging on music to the degree where they've supported it to the degree he has. And I will say that Damon Albarn is definitely one of a kind person.